welcome back. So in today's video, I want to talk about 3 brand new face palettes that have just launched recently, and there are a lot of similarities between these, and I've been getting some questions on Instagram when I swatch these palettes, like how do they compare to each other, how are they similar, how are they different. So I thought it'd be fun to do a video and just sort of talk about all 3, swatch them for you guys, and talk about the differences because they do really look similar. Each palette has 6 shades, and each one has 2 blushes, 2 bronzers, and 2 highlighters. So they kind of have the same setup, but there are definitely some subtle differences beyond just looking at the colors as far as formula goes and texture and things like that. So I just wanted to go through some of the pros and cons of all of these, as well as tell you which one is my favorite. So without further ado, let's get started. So first up, let's talk about the Urban Decay Sin Afterglow palette. This one is $39. It comes with 6 shades. You get 2 bronzers, 2 blushes, and 2 highlighters. So starting with the blushes, you have Kiss Off, which is a soft rosy pink, Score, which is a medium pink peach with a touch of shimmer to it. Then there's Paranoid, which is a medium bronze bronzer with a slight gold shimmer. Then PSA is a bronzy rose gold. This has a lot more shimmer to it. Spotlight is a light peach with gold shimmer, and Sin is a pale nude shimmer with a gold shift. So for me, this palette is definitely the most fair to light skin friendly of the 3. I think this palette actually looks beautiful on my fair skin tone. The formula is also very, very soft and buttery. I think it blends beautifully on the skin. Urban Decay's Afterglow blushes are known for being long wearing, and these definitely are, so that's another big plus to this palette. Overall, I wear all of these shades on my cheeks and my face with the exception of PSA because I feel like it's a little bit too crazy shimmery to wear on my cheeks, but I have worn it as an eyeshadow before and I like doing that as well. I think it's really beautiful color. I just don't like it on my cheek area, especially because if I wear too much shimmer on my face, it tends to emphasize texture. But other than that, I think this is a really beautiful palette, especially if you have a fair to light skin tone. And then next up is the Too Faced Natural Face Palette, and this one is the most expensive of the 3 at $44, but I think that this one has the best packaging. It is so, so beautiful inside and out. On the inside, you're getting, again, 2 blushes, 2 bronzers, and 2 highlighters. They have this floral pattern stamped on the powder itself, which is absolutely stunning. The inside is all gold and shiny, and it has this huge mirror inside. So overall, the packaging is perfection, and it's also, it feels very heavy, very substantial. It closes tightly, which I like. So you're getting 2 blushes, Pink Wink, which is a pink coral satin finish, Pink Sand, which is a matte mocha pink, and then you're getting 2 bronzers, which are Sunny Honey, a warm ginger color, and then Tropic Like It's Hot, which is a spiced terracotta, and that one has a shimmer to it. Sunny Honey is more matte. And then the 2 highlighters, you're getting Starlight, which is a frosted pink champagne, and Satin Sheets, which is a frosted golden pink. So this formula is the creamiest, I would say, of the 3. It's infused with coconut butter. It smells like coconut, and it has almost like a creamy texture. It's very velvety, very, very soft. It blends beautifully on the skin as well, but with this one, I would say if you have a lighter skin tone, definitely use a light hand with these powders because they're super pigmented. They can come off very overwhelming on your cheeks, and the creamy nature of it can make it sort of stick to an area. So if you grab a bunch of blush on your brush, let's say, and you go to put it on your cheeks, it can kind of just make a huge patch right there, and then it becomes difficult to blend away because of how pigmented these are. It almost like stains your skin right away. So you do have to be careful with this one if you are fair to light skinned. I haven't had too much of a problem using this palette, but there was a little bit of learning curve the first time just because I didn't realize how insanely pigmented these were going to be. So now I just know that I need to use a very light touch with this palette. Also, I don't really use the shade Tropic Like It's Hot much, kind of similar to the Urban Decay palette, the shimmery bronzer. It's just not for me. I don't tend to wear shimmery bronzers, so I have used that as an eyeshadow before as well. It's beautiful. I've used actually a lot of these shades as eyeshadows again, and it worked out really well. I think that's the beauty of face palettes, is that you don't just have to limit it to your cheeks. You can also use it on your eyes as well, especially if you're traveling. I think it makes it so much easier if you just can take one palette with you and then you're good to go. And then last but not least, the Laura Geller Cheek to Chic palette is brand new. This just launched on QVC about a week and a half ago. I got it immediately as soon as it launched because I'm obsessed with Laura Geller's blushes. I've talked about them several times here on my channel as well as on Instagram. I just love a baked formula, and these are all baked inside. So in the palette, you're getting two blushes, 2 bronzers, 2 highlighters. The blushes are Bali, which is a really beautiful pop of pink. Then you have Catalina, which is more of a dusty mauve shade. For the bronzers, you have the Baked Bronze and Brighten in the shade Medium, which is more of a matte satin finish. And then the Baked Body Frosting in Hawaiian Glow, which is sort of a swirl of tan and cream and pink running through it. So that is a really gorgeous shade, but that one does have shimmer to it. And then with the baked highlighters, you're getting Toasted Coconut, which is a warm golden apricot honey shade, as well as Honey Lavender, which is a softer golden lavender shade, and that one is not quite as intense as Toasted Coconut. So with this palette, I am in love with the formula. Again, I love baked products, especially because you can also use them wet without fear of getting hard pan. So you can definitely up the intensity of any of these just by wetting your brush a little bit. And also, because of the ultra blendable formula, these blend out really, really beautifully and seamlessly. So even though some of the colors look a little dark in a swatch, they don't show up that way on your skin. So if you have more of a fair to light skin tone, this will still work perfectly for you. In fact, I'm wearing this palette on my face today completely. I used it on my eyes, I used it on my cheeks, I used the medium matte bronzer all over my face, and it just blended out so super nicely. It is buildable though, so if you have a deeper skin tone, then you could do that as well. Okay, so as far as my overall thoughts on all 3 palettes go, I think the Urban Decay Sin Afterglow palette is the best one if you have fair to light skin tones. I think that the colors don't overwhelm nearly as much as the other ones do. Second would be the Laura Geller palette, because even though the shades run a little bit deeper than the Urban Decay, they can blend out really beautifully. And then third in that case would be the Too Faced Natural Face palette, because these ones are really super intense. And if you have more of a medium to tan skin tone, just reverse that order. I think the Natural Face would show up the best on you, followed by the Laura Geller, and then last the Urban Decay. As far as packaging goes, Too Faced wins it by a landslide. I think that this packaging is just stunning. This one actually comes with a mirror. The Urban Decay one does as well. The Laura Geller does not have a mirror, so that's just something to keep in mind if you like mirrors in your palettes. And then as far as the formula goes, I think I like the Laura Geller one the most, but none of these have a bad formula by any means. I actually like all of them as far as the formula goes. They all are really beautiful. This is just sort of personal preference at this point. I love a baked formula because, especially when you have drier skin or more mature skin, the baked powders just glide so effortlessly and they blend very, very seamlessly. And then between these two, it's kind of a toss-up. I don't know. I like the formula on both of them really. I mean, it's kind of similar. This one has the coconut scent. If you don't like scented products, I would go for this one. It doesn't have a scent at all, but these both feel like very creamy, soft, buttery, velvety kind of formulas. So these are kind of a little bit more similar as far as formula goes, and they both, like I said, apply and blend out really well, but this one definitely has my pick for formula. So overall, out of the 3 palettes, I think my favorite is the Laura Geller Cheek to Chic. As I said before, I like them all, but I think that this one has the best formula, at least in my opinion. It has the formula that I like the most. And even though the shades run slightly deeper than the Urban Decay, which is actually better for my skin tone, but because this one blends out so beautifully, I don't have a problem using some of the deeper colors. And even though the packaging was not my favorite, I would much rather get a formula that I enjoy and colors that I enjoy rather than using like a mirror in a palette. I don't normally use them, so I don't mind if this doesn't have a mirror to it. And it does close nicely for travel. It's definitely travel friendly. So overall, I think this is the winner. But as I said before, I like all 3 palettes. So if there's one that you liked in particular more than others, any one of these I think would be a good choice. It just depends on your preference. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and also let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on any of these palettes. Have you tried them? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Have you tried any other cheek palettes recently? I would love to hear about it. I love chatting with you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.